I just spent the last probably 2 hours deconstructing this song that I have for one of my side projects. And I kind of had this idea like, hey, what if we just made it with entirely free plugins? And that kind of brewed this idea. So, with that being said, I'll kind of like A B these real quick between this track right here, between this finished, I guess you could call it mastered track. It sort of is, sort of isn't, but it's pretty much final where I want it. Um, so yeah, I'll bounce between the two so you can kind of hear. But keep in mind this pink one is the mastered, like the original, and then everything else is everything that I've been working on in this session. And then I will kind of do a breakdown and show everything that I've been using that's entirely free from bass, the drum kit, and then the all the guitar effects. So yeah, let's just go ahead. We'll like I said, A B these real quick so you can get an idea for what we're going to be doing. So there's definitely some differences. This track right here sounds a little bit more lively, brighter, a little bit more clarity and everything, which is kind of ironic because for the project, I'm sort of trying to make it as messy as possible. It's kind of for like this upcoming gore grind slash brutal death project. But that being said, I did want it to come out a little bit nicer. But yeah, so what we've got for this here, we'll just start with drums because that's kind of a fun one, I guess. So for the drum track, I'm using the MT Power Drum Kit 2, which everybody talks so much shit on it. And, it's not the best, but it is pretty good. And honestly, I'll just run through everything that I've got on here. So you get it, it comes loaded like this, pretty standard kit. So I'll just go through and play every sound real quick. There's a cymbal, I'm not sure what you'd call it, just the outer shell of the cymbal, and then the bell. So for ride cymbal, and then ride bell. Pretty cool. Yeah, so like I said, it's a pretty basic kit. It's not great. It does have a mixer here, and the only thing I've touched on it is I've raised the volume on the kick, because without it, we'll go back real quick. That's where it's at now versus when you first load it. And in the mix, let me see. I'll just grab this section here. You can hardly hear the kick, but if we bump that all the way up, it's more prominent, which is great. Normally, you don't want to throw the kick all the way up like that, but in this to kind of cut through, and you can't really individually route these out. Or actually, I guess you can. I'm just finding that out now. I might do that later, but for just trying to explain this right now, or whatever I'm trying to do, leaving everything as one whole thing makes a lot more sense right now. So kick's the only thing I've adjusted there, and then snare is the only thing. So without compression, it's going to sound like this. Oh, I'm sorry. Not bad, right? But when we throw the compressor fully maxed out here, just gives it a little bit more oomph that we need. So it kind of cuts through. And once again, I'll show that in this. So yeah, let's grab this section real quick with the snare off, or the compressor off, versus all the way on. Just kind of lets it breathe a little bit more. So yeah, compressor all the way on, kick all the way up. That's really all I've done there. Something I found out on accident when I was toying around with stuff. I threw a tube screamer on the drum track. I don't know why. I was just messing with stuff, but check this out real quick. So without it, obviously, and then with it, it kind of sounds, it almost has more of like a live drum setting sound. Check this out. Sounds a lot less refined and a little bit more like open, which for this genre of music, I actually really like because as ironic as it is, I'm trying to have as much sound and like feedback as possible, minus this section here, because I kind of went a little overboard and could not correct the transients coming off of everything happening right there. So for right now, we'll just leave this off and then we'll bring it back at the end. Let's see. What do we want to start now? Bass. Okay, we can go over bass. So I just had a nice DI track. It's this is all MIDI bass. So just to give an idea on that. Pretty standard. I recently found this free bass plugin. It's called the Growler by, I guess, this company here, AugustRose Audio. And it's pretty damn good, honestly. So check this out. This is the MIDI once again. And then with it. Just kind of creeps in like a more modern bass feel. So this is how it comes stock. And then I've just turned the treble up a bit just to, you know, give it a little bit more kick. Can have it kind of dry sounding. Turn everything back on there. And then obviously, just because we're going a little bit more overboard, I decided to throw this metal area pedal on here by this company here. I'm not even going to try and butcher it, to be honest with you. So once again, we'll A/B it. This is without this pedal. And then with it. Just makes it absolutely disgusting, which once again, for this genre, that is kind of what we're going for. All right, here comes the fun part. Here's what we did for guitars. Let's center this track real quick. Pretty high gain, I'd like to say. So this is another free plugin by Revolt DSP. It's called the EVOamp, like this. Now this is really cool. Everything starts off in the 12 o'clock position minus volume. So if you load this up, volume is going to be all the way down like this and you will barely hear it. So I just put that about, you know, roughly halfway there. And then obviously mids are scooped because this is death metal adjacent. And it is a pretty high gain amp, so you do have to turn the gain down quite a bit. Normally I like it right about here, almost off if I'm using this for literally anything else. But I just have it cranked a little bit, only because, like I said, we're trying to really kind of mess this guitar tone up. It gives you a couple cab options here. And then there's a bypass, but that's going to be too scratchy. Now it's also got this effects board here, noise suppressor, which for what we're doing, we do not need at all. Overdrive pedal, which no drive, tone all the way up, level all the way up, because why the hell not? Funny enough, in front of this entire amp, I've got another overdrive pedal with the exact same settings. And then just for the hell of it, like we saw on the bass, same metal zone pedal. So without these two pedals and just the Evo amp, and then with, it just introduces a little bit more fuzz and distortion. I did kind of play around with the Ignite Emissary amp and the IR loader. In my opinion, it sounds a little bit too washed out for what I'm trying to do. If washed out and refined kind of worked in the same sentence, that's what it would be. But just for the hell of it, I'll kind of show you. And then the Evo once more. So personally, for what I would have liked to do in this, I'm just trying to make it as dirty as possible. So I think the Evo wins that one. And it's the same exact thing for the right guitar. Same effects loop, just copy and pasted. So that's all that. And really, that's all there is to it. So if we just kind of introduce bass. You see how on and off with that pedal kind of like puts the bass almost up there with the guitars, kind of almost acting like a third guitar to fill in that space. Personally, I like that too because not only does it help create that kind of nutty wall of sound, but it also just messes the whole signal up and just kind of distorts everything, which for this genre, I'm a big fan of. Don't ask why. So yeah, once again, this is kind of everything. And then I think I had, oh, that's right. We had the overdrive turned off the drums. So if we just listen to that with overdrive. It's pretty nuts. Now, just for some bonus points here, well, first I'll go over this. This is just to capture my voice right here, so ignore that. But another free plugin inside of Reaper is saturation. So if we just take that entirely off, here's how the whole mix sounds. And then introduce it. Kind of just makes everything a little bit more wet. And then I put this on everything. And then just all I do, -1 decibel. That's all I do. And that's literally it for the master chain. Just this guy here and this guy here. So obviously we were experimenting with shit. So check this out too. Mainly because why not, right? Put that before the limiter. Same settings as we've done for everything else. Level up, tone up, drive all the way down. Now will A be the whole master? Check this out. Without it. And obviously that's if you're going for a very, very specific, very niche sound. But it's cool to know that, you know, you can just, if we've learned anything today, you can throw an overdrive on anything and make that shit sound crazy. So let's just disable that real quick. And yeah, if you wanted to hear a full playthrough of everything, I will just go ahead and do that. I'll also put a timestamp here, so if you don't want to listen to me ramble about all this stuff, you can just kind of hear this whole track. This will be coming out in the future, and I'll have to revisit this and post a link. But yeah, without any more bullshit, here's everything. So yeah, that's everything. And like I said, it's for an upcoming song coming out. And if you got anything to take away from this, I hope it's now you can experiment with a bunch of free amp sims and stuff. So yeah, hope you have a great day and fuck that tone up.